Welcome back, everyone. I am Ted, and we're going to do a great painting today. Very special. You may have seen me paint on here before, and I do different kinds of paintings from seascapes, nightscapes, seascapes, landscapes. Did I say seascapes? Galaxyscapes. And different challenges that I put forth to myself or to you guys. Well, this is an extra special one here. This is the 5-color challenge here. I'm going to do as detailed of a painting as I can get in a 45-minute stream with 5 colors. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I've already got a thin even coat of the liquid white. It's that thin down oil paint, very thin film. I always say layer, but it's really more of a film. And I even still have a little bit on my brush. It don't matter. I'm going to tap into some phthalo blue. Both sides of the brush. See, just tap the paint in. And let's go ahead and let's just make a, you know what? I changed my mind right off the bat. I'm going to get a different brush. And I'm going to go into alizarin crimson. Why don't we have a sunset? We've got to use these colors somewhere, right? So let's go ahead and I'll just dance in a little pinkish area. It turns pink because of that liquid white. You see how it blends and mixes just like that? And we can determine how soft we want it. We want it a lighter pink. Just keep blending. Or maybe next time use a little less paint. But the more you blend, the more it lightens up. And just like that, we've got a beautiful random blob of color there. Hey, what's up, Deli and SP and Ungrateful? I've got titanium white, my phthalo blue, my alizarin crimson, my sap green, and my cad yellow. All the colors of the rainbow. Alright, now I'm going to use my same brush. I dirtied up that other brush for nothing. Little bit of the phthalo blue, and let's go ahead and dance a little. You notice out here I'm starting up in the corners, and I'm going to work my way down to the pink. And it's going to mix in a little bit. Not really blending too much yet. We're just getting the color on there. It's going to hit some of that crimson and hopefully get a little bit of a lavender color to it. Bringing it right on down. Bringing it right on down and over. Okay, if you want it a little darker, just tap a little bit more color and start at the top again and bring it down. Now we're going to blend this out here in just a minute. Just getting the color on there. Now I'll tell you what, we got this dirty old brush that already had the blue on it. Let's use that and create some water here. Maybe we'll see some of it, maybe we won't. It's just some undercolor. Just some undercolor on one side and then on the other side. We just get this undercolor in here and we determine how much of it we see throughout the painting. I feel like I'm going speed painting quickness here. But I always plan on just 45 minutes. But if you guys start, no pressure. If I happen to get any extra time awarded to me, I just make the painting more detailed. Use up what time. And if I'm going on too much without any awards, I'll just start a second stream. I mean, who's gonna say boo, right? Now let's go ahead and clean the brush. I've got my mineral spirits in a bucket off camera. And I got a big trash can with a piece of pipe running through it so I can... And it is a little bit blurry. I think that's just because maybe it's not centering on the picture yet. Plus, this light's a little bright. Let's try that. It's hitting a little bit of a glare. It does look a little better. Now that we've got a pretty clean brush, beat it on the old easel there. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just sort of blur that line between the crimson or pinkish color and the phthalo blue just by simple little X strokes again. When you take that excess paint out of the brush, then it becomes a blender brush. Softens all these colors, and we work our way out. Try not to bring too much blue back in. Maybe a little. If you want to, you can just make it super duper soft and a nice transition. Cool thing is, if you don't like anything that you're doing up here, we're just going to cover up with the next bit. So, look at this. I probably should have put a little bit of red in there, a little bit of crimson. That's alright, we just change it. And when I bring this across, it's going to create a little bit of a crimson glow. Maybe it'll throw a little bit of purple in there. And then the rest is just relatively straight phthalo blue. But we got all these little lines that kind of help give the impression of some water. Nice flat water. We'll see how that goes. Alright. Clean the old brush once more. Turning the light off was bad, as others are saying. Oh, I'm really sorry, guys. It's not blurry on my stream at all. I could try a slightly different light configuration. I just think it doesn't have something to center on. Like when I'm in the frame like this with my hands, does it turn sharper? I mean, it's a decent camera. I've been using it for quite a few paintings. Now it just seems really glared on my screen. Well, Captain Dangerous, I appreciate it. No, it's perfect. Alright. Well, let's try that. Now that I turned that light off. Well, thanks, SP. That's Pashy. Let's go ahead and let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. I'm going to take a little bit of the titanium white. And it's very, very thin. I pulled this down and it's very, very thin. I'm just going to, I might need a little bit more. Just gonna dance a little bit right here. I don't often do this step. There we go. And then just going to brush them back a little bit. And most of it will look like it kind of disappears. But when you get up close to it, you'll be able to see some of the variation. There we go. We put that in there just for a little bit extra. What I'm doing here today is I'm going to be getting back into my classes. I am a certified Bob Ross instructor, and what that means, I go out and I teach other people how to do this. Very, very slight touch of the crimson in here. So I'm doing this painting as a challenge to myself to see how detailed I can get this painting. And then I'm going to use that as kind of my example in one of my classes, how we can simplify it and get an entire painting done in a much shorter time frame. So this is just kind of a fun little exercise. Just taking a lot of paint into this fan brush and making little circles. Depositing that paint and not blending it in. Okay? I want some chunky hunks of paint up in here. Okay, and I'm going to put two of them out here. Normally I do one cloud at a time. But I think if we keep these a little bit further away from each other, we can do two. There we go. Way up there. So let us see here. After we get the paint on, as a mason, 99. So sorry. Oh, we got the smog coming. As Bob liked to say, happy pollution at the base of his mountains. I like calling it fog and mist. I know the pollution's there too, but let's keep it happy. Let's call it mist and fog and always staying positive. So you see, all I'm doing is just brushing little tiny circles. You stir it down, then you come back up here and you fluff from the bottom of the cloud up, and then just finish it with a couple little crisscrosses. That's basically how we do fan brush mountain. I'm going to strengthen this one. We want nice little bright little blobs there at the top of our mountain. If you put some in the middle here after you're done, it can kind of like make it look like a secondary mountain or secondary cloud, or just a little bit of a third dimension to that same cloud. But it's the same concept here. Put the paint on, blend it down, fluff it up, finish it sideways. Waka! There we go. The fog is just weed smoke. Oh my goodness. Loopy de loop. You're nice. Neil and Amy. Yes, this is a wet on wet style painting. If you've ever watched Bob, or previous to Bob, Bill Alexander was doing a TV show on PBS, and Bob was his student for many years. And yes, we use a wet on wet style. I put a very thin coat of this stuff called liquid white. It's a thinned down oil paint. That's all it is. It's the same white as this, just with a little bit more oil in it. So, we got a couple of clouds up there. Let's make a mountain. We're going to make that mountain, believe it or not, by mixing red and a good hunk of blue. Probably going to need more blue. And what we're trying to do here is make a very, very dark purple. Now you make the dark purple by adding a little bit more blue than normal. I'm just mixing this paint. Look at that. I can already tell it's going to be a nice color. If you're not sure what the color looks like, you take a little bit, throw some white into it, and you can tell that that's a purple, and it's a bit to the blue side. Look at that. Just so I can say I didn't do it perfect, I'm going to throw a little bit more blue in. I think the previous version could have worked. Let's just make it a little bit. I just like mixing the paint. That's it. That was the only reason. All right. Making the mountain. Hey there, Hope. Oh my goodness. Miss Hope, how is your day going? Miss Hope is a fellow, oh my God, am I telling tales out of school? She's a fellow CRI. She gave me this brush the last time we met in person. Cutting a little roll of paint on our knife, just like that. Find where our mountain's going to start. And I say we have a nice big old mountain here. With these little rolls of paint, all I'm doing is creating a line on one side and the other. See that? Kind of like an up arrow. An afro wig, and this would be golden. I know a lot of people say that, but I got my wig on the chin. I got the afro on the chin. Typical. Thank you. Oh my God, what happens in class stays in class. Hope. And let's go ahead and put a secondary little something right there. That mountain is getting lonely. So I'm pushing that paint. You can see the knife bending. I'm pushing the paint into that canvas, into the weave, and then scraping off the excess. See that? It just leaves that nice color behind. It's almost like I planned that. It's almost like the technique will work for anyone. Oh, changed my mind. Let's have a third peek. This turned into a very Bob 3-peak mountain here. Oh, 4 peaks. That's what happens when you talk and paint. your mountain just grows and grows. And, oh, grows. See that? Man, I thought I was going to just have a little simple mountain. Now look what I got. I got a whole mess going on now. Oh, Neil Nami, find me on my Instagram. I'd love to, hopefully you have some pictures there. Let me just be the shameless promoter here. naturesbrushstudio.com, my Insta, at IMTEDSIM. I'm tedsim. Because I am. I'm Ted Simpson. You can find me on Facebook, Ted Simpson, or Nature's Brush Studio. YouTube, Nature's Brush Studio. I can talk. Scraping off all this paint. Believe it or not, the next step is easier the less paint you have up here. Want a nice dark color, but that's it. Am I yelling too much? Am I not as mellow? People are going to get on me because I'm too excited and happy. You cannot talk. Impossible. Neuro major depressed, man. Now I feel bad. I'm talking too much. You get what you get when you come on one of my streams, I guess. All I'm doing is stretching this paint out and then wiping the brush down here, pulling to the left, pulling to the right. That's going to be my highlights and my shadows on every peak. Don't blend it down too much. Look at that. We're going to try to save a little bit of that pink, a little bit of that reflected sunset sky. And you don't have to mess with this too much. We're covering most of it up anyway. Tap out the excess paint. And then I'm just running this brush right here at the base. It still has a little bit in it. Blending it. So that should become part of the mist and fog and happy pollution. There we go. Something like that. That's right. That's right. You mute me, man. People wanna chat it up. People wanna beat the devil out of it too. All right, here comes moment of truth. Let's pull some of this paint down very, very flat. Very, very flat, like a piece of paper. Now I'm going to talk more just for to be defiant. Tiny bit of that sunlight, the sunset pink. Look at that. I got to check. Was that my wife's handle? Telling me I could not talk. All right. 2 fingers and a thumb, you know, very, very light, very light. You touch it right up at the top, and you just let it skim to create all these little breaks and holes, as we like to call them, or nooks and crannies, just like my English muffin, of dark color. Like a whisper, and now I am going to be a little bit quieter, because I kind of like that. You just barely touch. Little roll of paint every time I do this. And if you do it right, the brush, in this case the knife, the tool does all the work. Just guiding this. I haven't decided here. We'll put a little bit on this peak. Ooh, we got a little bit of the crimson in there. And then this peak over here, maybe just a little guy way back there, and maybe something right there. So that's the start anyway. I think I need a little bit more white, or white. A little bit of titanium white down there, because we got to make up a nice shadow color. Pikachu 97, that's the idea, man. Looks like a Coors Light. It does, it does. It's got enough peaks for that, that's for sure. A little bit of blue and our white. Let's see if we can make up enough here. A little bit more of the phthalo blue into some titanium white. I tell you what, let's have a little purple in there. What the heck? A couple little streaks like that. We don't know what's going on. What I do is I cut across that and get a little roll of shadow color. Now I can come back here and pull these little areas off to the left. Watch this. Oh, I totally missed the top there. That's all right. Come right on up here, and once again, it's a very gentle, ooh, look at that. We can just move these mountains to whichever side we want. If I want that in there, I leave the snow. If we want to highlight, you know, I just don't pull through. If I want this to be all in shadow, just grab this and just... You notice I'm leaving this middle bit unfinished. Aw, Jacques, that's about the nicest I've ever heard. That's what a compliment. That's the idea, man. You got to sneak a little bit of shadow in here. So for you guys that just joined, you might not have heard me mention here that I'm doing a 5-color challenge here. You know, the white, blue, red, green, yellow. And these are all just going to be various shades of those 5 colors. You can do a lot with a little in this method of painting. I've done as little as 2 colors. Once I get some shadow in there, I told you I left that middle peak there for a reason. But let me go ahead and just add a little bit of white on this edge. Right there where the shadow and the highlight are mixed. Then, let me get a fresh roll of paint. And watch this. We take this middle, and it doesn't have a lot of shadow right here. Let's just make a little line and pull it right on off to the right. Highlights usually go to the right, and when you know we're following the sun is over here, so the right side's got the highlight. So I grab a little bit more and then pull to the right. Ooh, I had a little crimson in there. And now we're starting to build something. Now we got a stew going, baby. We can take this as far out as we want. And I'm just covering up that shadow color because this is a very thick, dry paint. And we can just come in here and make a new little ridge. As long as it generally flows to the right, we know that that's what's catching the sunlight. And what's not in there is our shadow. I can come back here. I got very small amounts of paint, just sort of barely touching. You can feel how that's just zinging across the weave of the canvas, you know? But anytime you put a highlight in there, you gotta come back and give a shadow somewhere. See that little bit of shadow right there just helps the eye differentiate between highlight and shadow. A little bit more right there. Bring some of this down. The angle that you pull the shadow down helps create the illusion here that this is 3-dimensional. Look at that, we just created like a little ridge thing kind of poking its way out. And all these little spaces here where the white isn't quite covering it all, just put a little bit of shadow right there. And there we go, it's like the little 3 fingers kind of sticking out. Try crawling up that one and then, oh, we gotta hop over here, and you're not gonna make it up going that way. So, I find this nearly done, but this looks a little too one than the other. We gotta I'm going to take the small edge of the knife here, and we can kind of break up this line a little bit so it's not just super boring. And I could take a little bit of that light color, pull it on over to the shadow. Makes it look like a little bit of fallen avalanche or something or other, where it's still catching a little bit of the light. Right here, just want to break up the line a little bit. Add a little bit of highlight right there. Come back with a tiny bit of shadow. Create an extra plane. There we go. Kind of almost like a little plateau right here and a sheer drop. But this sheer drop is different from that one. And you can just sit there and play forever and ever. Or we can just blend the rest of this mountain down. Oh, we're going to get into the happy trees. We're going to get into the happy trees, but we're too far away right now. We gotta send this mountain back. Gotta send this mountain back. And all we're going to do is tap in the same angle here as these peaks. And then we sweep from bottom up. And that takes out the tap marks and leaves us with this nice hint of snow. It all fell away to shadow and fog and mist. Or happy pollution. And then I can just do a couple little simple X strokes. Once again, the more you do this, the painting just disappears, you know? And what we didn't paint becomes part of the painting. That's one of the coolest things that we can do here. This mist that we created just by blending everything away turns into something. It's crazy. So, what do we want to do? Do we want some foothills, or do we want a line of evergreen trees, like way in the back? Just like some foothills where it's all kind of indistinct, or do you want a little bit more detail as we work our way forward? No, I'm not Bob. I am a certified instructor. Oh my gosh, look at this. Big deal today. Happy trees, people demand trees. I saw both in there. Look at this, I just got my new business cards. I ran out a couple of weeks, a few months ago when I stopped teaching, but now I'm back into teaching, so I had to get some more business cards. So, let us move on. What did we do? We put, clean my 1-inch brush. That's still pretty fun. So let's go ahead and put some foothills. Thank you guys for all voting. This is oil paint, and I am in near Detroit, Michigan. So let us take a little bit of the titanium white, and over here where I kind of mixed up a test batch, that's going to be my for real batch now. A little bit of the white, a little bit of the purple color. And we find that you got to add a bit more white, because that's the way that color values work there. You got to add a lot of light color to lighten it up, but it just takes a little bit to darken it to oblivion. So, foothills. Look at this. All I'm doing, I'm hitting the brush. Derp. Hit the brush. Tap it. I'm not even looking. Ooh, I probably should look. Probably should look. I would not recommend closing your eyes. Just to tell you that I'm not doing really anything all that special here, you know? You get the feel for it the more you do it. But it's a pretty simple process. And you notice here, I saved some of that foggy, misty area, okay? This is a little bit darker, so it stands out. And I'm just gonna bring this down a little. Same brush load. I'm not doing anything here. I'm just tapping and kind of emptying out the brush a little bit. There we go. If I want to, I can grab a little bit more of that same color, and I can kind of add a little secondary. Ooh, look at that. The same color kind of creates a little bit darker because I'm in this blended area. And we can create all these multiple little hills and ridges and what have yous. Alright, that brush is kind of dirty. Let's go ahead and just get a clean 1-inch brush. Oh, no, I changed my mind. Let's use the big brush. Because what we're going to do is grab a little bit of that foothill and pull down. And we're going to turn a little bit of that foothill maybe into some reflection. I don't know how much of this we're really going to see, but it's fun to do. Alright. And I tell you what, I'm going to grab a little bit more of the dark color, beat it right into that same pile, and that pile gets a little bit darker. Potato Hill. Nature's Brush Studio, Coop. Nature's Brush Studio on YouTube. Let's just go. Need a little bit more color, a little bit darker. Sometimes I go for a very subtle change in color where I got to remember, go a little bit tougher. Get angry. Get some color out here. All right. Let me do that again. I need a little bit more color. Just a little bit of dark into that same pile. Oh, there we go. Another foothill. All right. I'm going to clean this brush right after I create a little bit of reflection here. This is going way off the rails. I totally changed my entire composition, what I was planning on doing. That's what happens. That's what happens. So let's go ahead and take that brush and very gently, you may not be able to see this on the broadcast here, but I'm just pulling up the very tiny edge of the top. You know, it's like a 1/4 inch, and it's making thousands and thousands of little treetops automatically. Here I can make them a little bigger because they're a little closer. Alright, before I get too far, take a tad of this titanium. Sorry, I'll look at the comments here in just a second. Why don't I do it now? Fragrant Wedding 452, what an awesome name. Yes, we are real, man. Michael from Visanchet, I don't know what that is. Yeah, check my profile. I'll tell you what, it's a little too bright, just straight white like that. Let's use a little bit of the blue in it. A little bit of that purple, I should say. Just dull it down a little. If you check my profile, I've got dozens of these streams. All different crazy things. I just went and checked out my drying rack of all the paintings I've done on my streams in the last month or so. And some of them were dry enough to put away, so that was cool. And this time I'm going to add a little bit of white to that. Let's go ahead and create a little water line, very small. This is still kind of far away. So we just want a little separator between our land and our water. And with that said, who's ready for some happy trees? Big decision, guys. Big decision. Frowny trees, frowny evergreens, or smiley evergreens. You guys get to choose once again. Well, I tried this whole light thing there. I'm sorry about that. I am no lighting technician. I see the glare up there too. It's if I shut all the lights off, you guys can see it perfect, but then the camera starts to go staticky. Let me. I always aim to please. I can't say no to anyone. So let me try that, and you guys tell me if that looks any better. So I'm seeing a lot of frownies on there. And you're saying mixes. I do like frowny trees. That does look a little bit better, that little lighting. It was see as much, and many people that complain about the lighting, the many people that say it's the same. I'm sorry, I can't please everyone. Where did all my brushes go? I bet they're over here. Let us figure out what we're going to do. Let's see, frowny tree. So, what we're going to do is we need to change up the paint. This dark color, we're saving it. We want some. Let's go ahead and make some more. All dark colors. We just need a little bit more volume. And once again, same colors. And I'm going to throw a big nice hunk of sap green into the purple mix. Sap green into the purple. That purple was to the blue side, like a blue-violet. Very dark. A little bit more paint. It's good to have volume. It's good to have excess, more than you need when you're doing this method. Sometimes we load the brush up like really crazy just for a very light touch, and that's coming. I'll show you that later, but we need a lot of paint to do it. Unfortunately, I mean, you can't be stingy with the paint when you're doing this method. Go big. Because right now, to make these Bob Ross style evergreens, we load the brush. Look at that wiggle. Wiggle, 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 and then pull straight. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this. It's a big wedge of color on both sides, but with a very sharp point, a chiseled edge, as we say in the biz. You use that chiseled edge to just touch in a center line. You can call it a trunk if you want, but it's really not quite. You can call it a trunk, I don't care. Come straight in, go over, bring it down. Straight in, bring it over to the left or to the right, whichever direction, if you're a righty or a lefty, and then lower it. So you just get the little corner touching the canvas. And as you come down, all I'm doing is I'm starting in the center and tapping a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. Okay? Always starting from the center, and I'm bending. When I bend, the brush bends and it deposits a perfect little shape. Both sides, the left side and the right side, get this nice little branch shape that I liken it to like a shark tooth. It just has that angle to me. For me, I think of it as a shark tooth. So when I'm doing this, I just start in the center, tapping from the left to the right, turn the brush over, and you got even more paint. And you're just tapping and creating these shark teeth branches until you find the tree that you like. How big it is, what shape it is. You can come back and do little touch-ups here if you'd like. The only hard and fast rule is typically they're a little wider at the base. So you just hit it a little harder and bring it out a little bit further at the base. That's about the only rule. That tree could use a little friend. No Van Dyke Brown today. Sorry, man. This is five color challenge, but I may have a surprise for you. A special guest. Let's go ahead and give that tree a little friend. Same thing. This is this dark purple with a little bit of green in it. Touch a couple little spots at the top. Whatever. And then we can start getting into it and tapping it. Starting from the center, working our way from side to side. And you can even go even faster and just start cracking it. And it makes all these little branches. And we don't really care about the actual finished shape here because this is just background color. Ooh, I touched the canvas right here. Oh my gosh. I try to get rid of it. I think I made it worse. Let me try to get rid of it. I'll tell you what, we'll make that part of the painting. Alright, I say there's a third tree in here. I'll tell you why. There's several reasons why. Mainly because I want to. We don't really care about the other reasons. I want a third tree. I put a third tree in. It's just that simple. And let's bring this down a little bit. I think we're going to make this a little bit more of a projection, little peninsula. Oh, look at that. We just made it part. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a happy accident at all. It turns out it was completely planned. You got it! Oh my God, Benito Burrito. You send me your name and your address if you're like over 18, and I'll send you a little something from me, your Bob Ross instructor. He is right. Odd numbers look better. That was the trick I was gonna say. That was rule number 2, or reason number 2. So all I'm doing, this time I'm making like little up trees, and it's going to create a little idea of the tree being reflected. I know it looks even wonkier than these, and that's okay, because we take our 2-inch brush, touch, pull down, touch, pull down, very gentle. We don't want to blend that all the way or into a big blob. Just pull very gentle over those reflected trees there. There we go. Dry the brush off, and then barely touch, pull across, and that creates a nice diffusion. All right. We're cooking now. Oh, a great big pile of nothingness. I can't even say the word. You're wrong, man. You can do this, or ma'am. You can do this. What I can't do is put the lid back on the jar of paint while my hands are full of paint. That was silly. So, we got to highlight these trees. I told you about a special guest. Normally I wouldn't do this in my class, but let's go ahead and do this. Someone asked before about Van Dyke Brown. We're not making Van Dyke Brown, but watch this. I can take an equal amount of alizarin crimson and sap green, mix those two together. Ooh, I don't think I got enough sap green. It has to be relatively 50-50 for it to work right. But it still looks good to the red side or to the green side. And if you mix alizarin crimson and sap green together, you get a lovely transparent brown. Well, we like to call it Christmas brown because red, green, it's a pun. So a small roll of paint on the knife. I can come up here, touch, and put in a little idea of a trunk. Touch, create a little bit of a topper on it, and then just once or twice, maybe thrice, a couple little spots here of some trunks. Take a little bit of that paint there and watch that. I can just sort of touch, create some sticks and twigs in the background just with that same color. I can also take, I'm going to do this first so I don't forget. Banana. No, this isn't Van Dyke Brown. This is a 5-color challenge, and I just made a 7th color here with 5 colors. 8 colors? I don't know what the heck. I started with 5, but a little bit of thinned down brown. And I'm going to take this and just create a couple of little dead branches and stuff. Dead branches. I think someone just sent me a Facebook message there. There we go. And I don't know, can you guys even see those? Maybe? Oh, don't start giving me too much time. If you give me too much time, that means I'm just going to have to do a second painting. Oh God, here we go. Did you got 45 minutes left again? It might be a 2-painting night. I'll do the same painting without talking. How about that? let's highlight this, okay? Look at this dirty brush. This is the same dirty brush we used. A little bit of the liquid white, and I'm going right into the cad yellow. And look at that, because of all that blue we had in there, just makes a lovely green. And we want this paint thin, okay? Thin in consistency. So I put a little bit more of the liquid white in there. The idea here is this is wet on wet, and a thin consistency paint will stick to a thicker, heavier undercolor. So I come right on up here, our light is coming from the right, so we tend to highlight a little bit more on the right side of the painting, work our way down, cross over that center line to give that sense of roundness, so to speak. Maybe a couple little baby something back there, just a little bit. And then this tree up here, he's got some branches that should have some strong highlights. You just dance your way down. I know the tendency is to just highlight everything. Trust me, I know the feeling. Try to avoid that. We want to see the dark there so that the highlights show up. We covered it all in yellow, it just becomes a yellow tree. Liquid white. My name on YouTube, Nature's Brush Studio. I've got a few Reddit streams up there now, some recordings, and then I got a lot older and thinner and beardless time lapse from when I used to stream on Twitch. So I'm going to take a little bit of that dirty color, that dark color that we had, and let's push in some shapes here, little bushes and trees. We don't really care. Just getting some texture up there. Okay? And I can just come up here and just cover that highlighted stuff. There we go. And now we're going to take our, gotta clean the brush. My 1-inch brush here, and this is my favorite bit. I've said this before on my streams. Putting the highlights on the bushes is one of my favorite things to do when I'm painting. So I take a little bit of that liquid white, and I'm just going to very gently, I'm pulling that cad yellow into the brush. Liquid white, cad yellow, definitely brighter, I think. Maybe not as dull. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter, a little bit more intense. Now look at that. I'm going to show you guys up here real close. You may be able to see all these little, what we call lacy effects. All the little leaves in there. They're right out there on the tip of the brush. You need a ton of paint. There's a lot of paint up in there. But you just barely touch. It's like a very light stipple. You touch and just turn the brush as you're touching, kind of like a clock face. 12, 11, 10. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Fill the brush back up again. Reload the brush often. And over here, let's go ahead and put in a little one here. See how easy that is? Leave a little bit of dark space. Work your way forward. Now normally I would change up the color, but we're just doing 5-color challenge here. Add a little green here. And maybe we got a little big one here, but you notice here all I'm doing is just touching. And that creates the effect. Okay, maybe a little bit of reverse over here. Just an idea. It doesn't have to match up stroke for stroke. Got a brush to clean. Oh, Alistair's Game. Thanks for the comment, my man. I think that's the first time 70 streams More than 50. More than 50. I've never had someone spam a single word before. I say we give it up for Alistair's game. He's won in at least a few 100,000. Very gentle touch. Once again, like Bob likes to say, 2 hairs and some air. Barely touch. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put a little bit of highlight on the trees. Let me just barely touch in a little bit of highlight. So when I pull this down, we'll still see a little bit of a smear of the highlight. Clean the brush and very gently, 1 hair and some air, blend to the side. And then we got a nice little reflection going. Thank you, exquisite. Coastline. Oh my gosh, that's right. Coastline time. You know your Bob. I tell you what, I'm gonna take a little bit of that brown that I made up, and let's just gotta get a little bit of a sandy beach or something for all these little bushes to grow next to. And it breaks up the line, so it's not just so boring. Take a little bit of that brown color and a little bit of the titanium white mixed together. Look at that, and get a nice highlight color. And once again, just like the snow on the mountain, I just let it graze here and there. And hopefully it gives it a little bit of a rocky texture. Take a little bit of that the liquid white. A little bit of liquid white, a little bit of titanium white. Some people like to use the liquid white exclusively for water lines. Some people like to use straight titanium white. I like to use a little mixture, and I try it a bunch of different ways. Different consistencies. And what you're doing now is we're pulling a little bit harder, pushing down on the knife a little firmer, and watch that water line just come squirting out the tail end of the knife. Try to keep it nice and horizontal. Move the knife down, but keep it flat. Keep the knife parallel to the canvas, and that will give it that impression of, keep the perspective where it should be, if that makes sense. And you can even add a couple of these little water lines or little lapping things just by throwing them in there. I've been doing this. That's a great. I know. It's like I see the last comment, and that's the one I comment on. I've been painting in this method for 5 years, and I've been teaching it for 3. And let's add a little tiny bit of the bush color right down and sort of break that line, just so it looks and pushes the dirt into the painting. It makes it look like the grass is kind of growing in some spots right up to the water. And I'm just stippling a little bit of the color on and just touching, just getting a little bit of maybe something right there. There we go. So we got a little color variation here. Again, with using more colors, you can have all sorts of cool stuff. So we've got lots and lots of time. I say we gotta put something up here. Let me see what you guys. Yes, we're painting like this. The beard like at the fro, but on the bottom. That's right. This is the apocalypse beard. I've never grown a beard in my 40 years. So yeah, I decided to grow a beard. Oh, connection issues. Holy crap. Please tell me you guys can still see me. Please tell me you can still see me. I still gotcha? I don't know. You guys gotta comment. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna start doing something and you guys tell me. Awfully quiet? Yes. Definitely give me a DM and let me know. Let's talk. We can definitely talk about that. You can come up with some rough compositions, absolutely. But did we lose you guys? I feel like I'm talking to myself now. Aw. I'm going to refresh this. Forgive me here for taking a moment. Just taking a moment and refreshing myself. Do we got me back? Oh my gosh. Alright, just need... Okay, oh my gosh, thank you guys. Oh, I was all worried. I just had to refresh it said my internet was out. Alright, let's do something fun right here. We've got a big old space right here. Let's go ahead and smash some color into it. Got all this excess color, you gotta use it. What we're doing here is adding to the painting, creating another plane. At the same time, we're making things darker. And we're also pushing the background further back. And if we have a nice birch tree, let's say maybe he's got a little arm kind of coming up here, you just go right on over that thick, heavy titanium white, and this paint is slightly thinner. So we usually have no problem in just layering the paint right on top. We'll just make this a little bigger. And the only real, if anything, rule is make them a little bit wider at the base than they are at the top. You don't have to. And I can come over here, switch the knife. Normally I'd move to the other side of the painting there, but I can clean up the left side here by once again just touching the knife and pulling towards the center. See? And we're just giving a general shape there, because I got to clean up some mess here. All this purple and white, I don't think I'm going to need it. But I do have some nice pure white. Once again, pull it down straight. Clean your knife. Another one of my favorite things to do is make birch bark. So you just touch, and this thicker white paint just kind of skips across, just like the snow on the mountain. Just sort of make a circular type shape, you know, a little bit of a comma or a you know what the heck I'm talking about. Circular shape. Make the tree look round by just giving it just a little curve as you touch. Get fresh paint if you start to get all cloggied. If it starts to get all muddy, I should say, with brown. Just touch and move. Don't touch the same spot twice. Okay? No fiddling. No futzing. And these larger branches, if you put them in, those can get a little touch as well. And if you want to get fancy, and of course we want to get fancy, you turn the knife around and you touch the left side and you pull the opposite type comma, curve, C shape. and it gives the impression of that peely bark. I know there's lots of ways to make that peely bark look on birch trees. I see them posted all the time on Reddit. Acrylic style, watercolor style, however style you want. This is just one of the Bob Ross techniques. Nothing wrong with doing it and trying it a bunch of different ways. I just have this filbert brush here. I just sort of want to clean up the bottom here. I don't even know what I was doing there. What do I got? I got a 1-inch brush and a tiny bit of this purple left. We got to make something here. Some green, some purple, some brown. We just need to get some dark color in here. Maybe even a little bit of that brown. All our dark colors, it doesn't matter. Just need to cover up this little area here. Now I'm going to give you guys another chance to, now look at this, I'm pushing in here, just sort of creating all these little leaves and sticks and so forth. I'm going to give you guys another vote here. It's not a Ted stream here without a bit of voting, right? So let's get the last of my dark. This is literally the last of it here. Just paint a little bit more of the dark right there. Get a little bit of this color. All right. What do you guys think of that? An island and a cabin and fiddle faddle zone. Yes. Oh, I missed it. What did he say? I must have missed it. This is definitely oil paint. Oh my gosh. So, let's make some branches. There, I'm trying to talk to see who's insulting who. I'd rather just keep painting. If it's all the same to you fellers. A little bit of that brown, maybe I got a little bit of that purple, whatever it is. I'm going to create some branches and then some little sub branches coming off of there. Little branches here and there. Once again, just make them a little bit wider where they come off the tree and skinnier as you go out. Make them grow. Look at that. That light, thin paint goes right on over the top of that mountain color. Isn't that something? We're not worried too much about each individual branch. Anything we don't like, we're just going to cover up. So make them as many or as few as you want. Don't worry about not making a ton, because we're just going to cover them up with some nice summer leaves, I think. So I'm just going to work this. Skinny little branches. Ooh, I think he just went right on off the page. Right on off the old canvas here. Little branches. Just having fun. If I'm doing good, I just keep doing them. So when I stop, it means it stopped looking good to me. I forgot to turn on my box fan here. I might be starting to glisten. Look at that. That's silence. I can't stand silence. Oh boy. Wow, this is crazy, guys. Normally this is the most mellow stream out there in terms of trolls and silly folks. But right here, just like we did with these evergreens here, just throwing in some little thingies all around. Again, most of this we're not going to see, so why not practice? And if you happen to see some of them, more the better. All right. Now, I tell you what, let's come in here, and I had a little bit of, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. I have no purple left, and I've got no blue left. But I can darken this a little bit. I got some of this purple, I got some of this red, and I've got plenty of sap green. So let's make this brighter leaves. What the heck? We'll just make as dark of a color as we can, and that should be just fine. Look, all I'm doing this time, watch, tap. When I tap, that it's like stabbing in, and it's getting that paint right out on the tip. And I just use the corner of the brush and just make these little clumps. Little groupings here and there. Okay, little ones over here. Right on over that cloud. Look at that. We just push that cloud way back. And we just create some wherever you want. Whatever branch you didn't like, throw some dark color on there. This is our dark color, believe it or not. And if you're not stingy like me, get some new color. Make it as dark as you want. I kind of like this. I tend to make it very dark, so this is actually fun for me. Now we'll come in here, same old highlight color, lighter green, that same dirty color in my brush, just tapping some of that right up into the tips of the bristles. Lighter color, thinner. No, not light enough. Not yellow enough. Let's get some more straight yellow. We have to be able to see the highlights here, and it was a little too dark. I'll tell you what, let me clean the brush, and that'll help bring out the bright color. Thanks there. Hey, and this was a pretty big milestone. I just crossed over 50,000 Reddit karma thingies. All hard-earned, man. Couple hundred at a time. I don't post that much, so I don't get much karma. I've been on Reddit for 4 years. But once I started streaming, well, then I'd get, a few hundred here, maybe 1,000 there. Now look at that. I've got nice, pure yellow. I'm tapped just a wee bit of green into, but keep it nice and bright. A little bit of liquid white, little bit of yellow, a little bit of green. There it is. Trying to tap a little bit on top of, a little bit over, above the dark color. Don't think too much about it, just give it a little tapper. Tap, tap, taparoo. Don't overdo it, leave some of the dark there. Now I'm just using the corner of the brush. Sometimes you can stipple the leaves in. Whatever technique you like to do is what you should do. There we go. And it's easy to overdo it too. There we go. Nice bright sunshiny day there. A little bit more of the green and yellow. I'm going to create some tall, sort of bushy grass just by loading the brush full of color on both sides. See that? And then I bend the bristles firmly. You can't just do it by touching, pressing, counting to 10, and letting go. It just doesn't work. The action happens when you do it firmly. And you just sort of overlap a little bit where you're hitting. Ran out of paint. You need more. You need a lot of paint here. There we go. Cover the sort of that base of that tree. Ooh, there's some brighter yellow. Create all these little effects here. I like that. That last little bit there got that bright highlight. Just banging it in there. Hit it too many times and you'll get mud, that's for sure. I'm going to even I picked up just the tiniest bit of titanium white. Let's see what that does. There we go, a couple little sparklers right there. So, not too shabby. I kind of ran out of colors there, and you could put bushes and all sorts of crazy kooky things. Paint a bear. The bear's in the woods, man. You know what bears do back there. Well, that's so awesome, Cynthia. You should get in touch with me and send me some pictures of your paint nights. naturesbrushstudio.com, or email me, or Instagram me, I should say. Instagram at I'm tedsim. Facebook, YouTube, even Etsy. All the whole 2 paintings I have up on Etsy. It's all Nature's Brush Studio. And, you know, I am going to be, if you guys got paints, I am going to be, I'm sorry, that comment just cracked me up. Tula's amazing. I'm more than willing to set up a virtual class. If you've got the paints, we can like Zoom meeting in, and just starting to explore that space and do some virtual classes. But that's the thing, is you got to have the paints and tools, you know, available to you. I don't like ship them or anything, so we can always talk about that. Now, oh, I forgot the most important thing. Or the second most important thing. The second most important thing would be to sign this puppy. Let's sign this puppy in a little bit of that purple. What the heck? It's like a lavender. Let's see what that does. I sign with just my initials. A little T, a little S, a little 2, a little 0. Nothing fancy. Now the other most important thing, I'm going to see if I got any color left to do this. A little bit of brown, purple, green, I don't know. I think I got just enough. Birds. I've been practicing my M birds here. Not enough, I guess. Keep practicing, Ted. Keep practicing. And I gotta have a little baby one way back there. I can't stop. Four birds. Even number. Crazy. It'll be the one thing that bothers everyone. Why couldn't there have been 3 birds or 5 birds? The trout jumping. Oh, we made some splashes there. It's so tough to paint a trout. You know, they move too quick for me. So we've got an awesome little painting, and of course, if anyone asked, I do sell paintings. Yeah, there's my sales pitch. Yeah, I sell them. So oh look, someone did ask. Running Oxy, just give me a DM here, or contact me through my website, or here, or Instagram DMs, whatever, email address, or here. And we can talk. I have different prices. I got different size paintings. Trying to see, how much time do I have left? It's only 8 o'clock. It's only 8 o'clock.